G'day everybody, doing a video here when replacing this coolant reservoir bottle. So I've started off already by removing the battery. It just has two hoses, one here and then one further down the bottom. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to drain all the coolant out of the bottle with a suction fluid extractor, and once I do that I'm then going to start disconnecting the hose clamps and then remove and replace. This is the replacement one. I've gone with an aftermarket one because it's cheaper, but it just sits in there like that. So you undo that screw there where my hand is, that one there, and then that one there, and then the whole thing should come out. So we're going to do that now, after I've extracted all the fluid, of course. Okay, so I've taken off the hose, and that hose is still in pretty good nick, and even the clamp's still in good nick, so I might not need to replace it. You got to undo this clip here, which feeds in through this hole here. Need to undo that bolt in there. It's in the way. That bolt there, that bolt there. That's clipped in to the window washer bottle. That's just a clip, so that just unclips there. And then the last bolt, it's a bit of a prick of a spot, but it's in under there. Once those are all undone, then you can undo it and move it out of the way, and then get to the hose on the other side of this. Okay, so I've undone the bolts that hold this, and I've undone that. Downside of undoing that is I think now my window washer bottle has cracked down in there, and it's leaked water everywhere. So that's fun. Anyway, so this is just sitting there. I've got to undo the hose there. I think I'm going to have to undo this power box just to move it out of the way. So I'm going to undo that bolt there and undo that bolt down there. Then that will allow me to just maneuver this out of the way so I can get this out. I've borrowed some long needle nose pliers to be able to get to the hose and undo that one. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, so I hit another snag. This metal plate gets in the way, so I loosen it up so that way I can lift it up and then angle it in and get it out. It's now out. This is also very sharp, so be careful on that. This has stuffed up, so I need to figure out how to fix that or whatnot before I move forward. I've cleaned up and dried up all this area, and now it's just a matter of putting it all back together. So that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, so I have finished it now. So what I ended up having to do is I ended up having to call my work colleague, one of the mechanics, to come out and just give me a bit of a hand. The only reason why is, so this clip here, as you can see, this thing's brittle, so it's breaking, and that little tab there's got a crack there. It's hard to see, but yeah, so it's got a bit of a crack there. I managed to save it without breaking it. So this is a push tab, so you will need to get a pry tool or a screwdriver and just gently, evenly push it out, just to avoid breaking that. Now, this can come out, and this is the reason why I called for his help, because I wasn't too sure about this, because this is the first time I've done this myself. And the instructions don't tell you about this in the manual or anything. So this stalk here that goes into the window washer bottle actually is removable. So it just slots into the window washer bottle and feeds the water into the bottle. So when I removed this was loosey-goosey and fooling around a little bit. And I was a bit sort of scared that I broke it. So I called him to give him a bit of advice and hand, just because I know when, my skill level needs a little bit of assistance. So I asked a bit of help, and he's like, no, you're doing everything right. This just slots in, slots out, and he showed me, and I'm like, all right, sweet. So we managed to do that without any issues. Now, to feed it in, it was actually easier feeding in than it was getting out. But basically what I had to do was I had to undo that bolt, like I said before. This allows you to move the fuse box in and out of the way. Not in and out of the way, but just allows some movement so you can angle this out. I then undid, you can't see it because the wiring loom's in the way, but there's a bracket bolt that this connects onto just down there. You don't need to take it out, like the bolt out, but you need to loosen it up so then that way this bracket can move up, which allows you, that tab down there, the mount tab down there, allows you then to feed it underneath to then twist this out and then angle it out this way. So it's a bit of a Tetris way of getting in and getting out. So you got to sort of angle this towards and back, and to be able to get that out there, and then that out there. And then the next hard thing is that hose disconnecting. That one there's a bit of a pain. Can't see it very well, but there's a hose that goes in. There you go, you can see it. Now I've replaced the clamps with all worm drive clamps, which is easy actually to get to it with a screwdriver. So then the clip. Now the mechanic showed me a trip, and shout out to him, he's a legend. So we used his long needle nose pliers, and you just get the round bit in on the hose and clamp down on it. Make sure it's tight so it doesn't slip and damage the hose, because the slipping is what damages the hose. It scratches it up and eats away the rubber. And then you use that to push it on, and then once you push it on, then you use that to hold the clamp, and then you get your long screwdriver in there and then tighten it up. So that's a trick that he showed me, so I'm going to use that forever now. So yeah, and then once it's all mounted up, this bottle didn't exactly line up 100%, but it's in there tight. You don't need to over tighten these, you just need to nip them up. I mean, it's not going anywhere. You just need to do them up hand tight, basically. They won't rattle loose. Not with, since this doesn't align properly, the plastic will sort of help absorb the impact, so it'll be fine. And there's no movement here, and it's like you don't have to torque it or anything like that. And then yeah, and then you just fill her up to the max line there. So that's what I've done. So I put the coolant back in it, because the coolant that was in this is brand new anyway, and I just topped it up with some rainwater, filtered rainwater, and then also make sure none of your wires as well don't get caught underneath it. And then once you're done, wash it all down and then go for a drive and see if it leaks. And if it doesn't leak, then you're done. Because when you replace this, you don't need to bleed the system or anything like that. You're not touching anything over there, so yeah, it's pretty easy. Pain, but easy. Well, I hope you have a good day and night depending around the world, and I hope this video helps. I did wish I could have recorded me doing it, but just the way things panned out, didn't come to it. I'm also working on a video at the moment. Ray's Hyundai broke down. It's got a few faults, so I'm going to bring out a video on trying to get that up and working again. And that's it. See ya. Bye.